Hello, I'm Karis. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and watching more of my videos. So today, I want to talk about some of my fears as a first-time mom. Some of the fears I'm having, I feel like are so silly. A lot of moms who this isn't their first rodeo probably would look at it and be like, oh my gosh, like you're fine. But these are genuine things I'm struggling with. And I'm thinking there's probably other first time moms to be who probably struggle with these thoughts. And I just want to make sure you know that you're not alone. A little backstory, if you don't know, I'm pregnant with twins right now. Identical twin girls to be exact. It was a pregnancy that was not planned. My husband and I got married at the end of September, and like a little over a month later, we found out we were pregnant. We wanted to wait at least 5 years. Well, didn't happen. And it was really hard in the beginning, but I ended up feeling a lot better as time went on. But the first fear and most prominent fear I've been having recently is the logistics of being a mother. I have never babysat before. Neither of us have any hands-on experience of changing diapers, holding a baby. We just did not have that experience. And I've also just never been the type of girl who's just been like dreaming of the day when I get to be a mother. Like, I did not grow up playing with dolls. I actually found dolls extremely creepy, mainly because the first time I was introduced to them was when I was about 9 years old. I'm adopted from Ethiopia, Africa. So when I first got adopted, my parents bought me an American Girl doll that looked kind of like me. She had like my skin tone and stuff, and it freaked me out. I did not like that thing. And it's funny because I see a lot of little girls who play with dolls and they pretend to be their caregivers and all of that, and it's so cute, and I'm like, can't relate. I was never able to do that. So I think part of that has transitioned to real life. Every time I see an actual baby, I'm always like, how is that mother keeping that baby alive? And I've been taking a lot of time reading and educating myself. My husband and I have taken courses, we've gone to classes, so we'll be okay, and we're gonna have plenty of help. But I don't know, it may sound silly, but I'm still kind of scared. I don't know what I'm gonna do when they just give me these babies and they make me take them home. I also have this fear of giving birth. I think this goes back to some traumatic events that have happened in my life. I have always just really been scared. I don't understand how a whole human being comes out of my body. And you can sit here and tell me about how our body is made to birth and blah, blah, blah. I know, I've read it all. I get it. I still think it's weird and it's scary, and it was not something I've ever been dying to do, so I'm kind of scared. But I'm gonna opt for a C-section, which itself is like a whole other conversation that I don't really want to get into. But right now, we're thinking C-section is gonna be my best option for the pregnancy that I'm having. I feel a little less scared about that, ironically, even though I'm gonna be like getting cut open. I don't know, that scares me a little less than actually like birthing him out. And I know usually C-sections actually are a lot harder to recover from and stuff, and luckily we have a lot of help, so I'm not too worried about that. I know I'll be okay and I'll get my time to recover and whatnot. But all that being said, just the idea of bringing these babies out into the world is very scary to me. And I don't know how a lot of women are just so like nonchalant about it. My husband and I were just at an appointment, and we overheard a lady call somebody, was like, hey, just want to let you know that they're gonna take me to labor and delivery. Looks like I'm gonna have the baby today. Okay, yeah, yep, sounds good. All right, see ya. She said all of that with no look of concern on her face, and I'm like looking at my husband like, she's about to go have this baby and she is acting so chill about it. Like, how is she acting so chill? She just like casually called whoever and just like, yep, so I'm gonna go give birth. I don't think that could be me. So anyways, scared about that. The other thing I've been a little bit more worried about recently has been breastfeeding. So that's been something I've been learning more about and trying to research. I'm actually taking a course on it, specifically like how to breastfeed twins. And it's something I want to do. I don't if my body allows it. But I've been really scared about it because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this with 2. It sounds like my whole job is going to be just producing milk. And up until literally a couple weeks ago, I had no idea that some women breastfeed up to like a year, 2 years. I genuinely thought you breastfed for maybe 3 months tops. And after that, they start eating food that's like easy to swallow, like applesauce or something, baby food, I don't know. So I was a little shocked when I found out that for the next year and a half, I'm just gonna be a milk machine to these babies. And that's okay. Like, that, I want to be a mom and I'm not gonna go back to work, so I'll be able to do it, but it's kind of scary. The other thing I've been afraid about has been sleep, because everybody has been telling me about how I can just say goodbye to sleep as soon as I have these babies. And I am somebody who loves my sleep. I go to bed early. I wake up early. I can fall asleep as soon as my head touches the pillow, and I don't like being woken up. So recently with pregnancy, I'm having to get up to pee, and literally every time I have to get up to pee, I find myself getting angry. I'm like, oh my gosh, why do I have to pee right now? So I'm thinking here, like, if I'm getting angry because I'm having to get up to pee, what is it gonna be like when I have to get up to take care of these babies? I don't know. All I know is that God has better start blessing me with some patience, because I don't know how I'm going to be able to operate with less than 8 hours of sleep. And everyone has been telling me you'll be lucky if you get like 4 hours of sleep in the beginning. But I know it's going to be okay. We're going to have plenty of help. My husband, luckily, is not like me. He can operate on less sleep, and he likes being up at night, and I like being up in the morning, so that'll help us. But yeah, it's just scary to think about how much my life is going to change, which leads me to the other fear I've been having, and that is how having these babies is going to affect my life. I've recently been thinking about how being a parent gotta be the most selfless thing that you do, because you go from just worrying about yourself and your spouse to now you have to worry about another human being that you've brought into the world, and you can still have a life, but really having kids will change my life. And then I also worry about how having these babies will affect my marriage, because my husband and I, all of a sudden, our attentions will be divided between us, life, and the babies. And then selflessly, I've also just had Andrew's, my husband, his 100% attention. He's such a good man. That's a whole different video. If I want to sit here and talk about how awesome Andrew is, he's pretty awesome. He loves me really, really well. And this sounds so selfish, but I just think about like, oh my gosh, he's gonna have 2 other little girls that he's gonna love too. And it's not gonna be just about me. And I don't want it to be just about me. I want him to love our girls, obviously. But I do wonder, I'm like, I wonder if that will affect me. And sometimes I think we can feel selfish for thinking these thoughts, but it's so important to vocalize these thoughts and talk about them. So I've already talked to him about it, and he's aware. He's like, Karis, you're my priority all the time, and the kids are gonna be a blessing to our lives, but you're my number one. And he reminds me of that. And we both understand that it's so important to put each other as our number one relationship below our relationship with God, because that's going to be what blesses our kids the most. But anyways, I say all that because if you don't talk about these things, then you won't even know when you're struggling with them. They might kind of come out of nowhere. It's just good to put out these thoughts out into the world. Talk to your partner, talk to a therapist about it, and maybe even go ahead and start coming up with some solutions that you can put in place if some of these fears become a reality. The other fear I've been having recently has been the whole maternal instinct thing. I worried that I may not have it. What if I have these babies and I don't have these maternal instincts that everybody seems to talk about? Everybody says, oh, you'll know what to do. You just know because they're your babies and you just instantly connect with them. And I'm like, but what if I don't? How do you know? How can I know I will have this instinct? Because I've never done it before. I don't know why I worry about that, because I'm really good with connecting with people, but I'm like, they're big people. They're not babies. I'm good at connecting with people who can communicate. So I don't know. I worry that I may not have these motherly instincts that everybody talks about, but I'm sure that's probably just another irrational fear that's probably not gonna happen. And then I also think about postpartum. I hear so much about women who deal with postpartum postpartum depression and anxiety, and I already have some history with mental health stuff. I take medicine for it, and I have an established therapist, so I think I'm in a good place to where if I do end up struggling with all that, it'll be okay. I'll be able to work through it because I worked through it before. But I do worry how my hormones will be affected, but maybe that won't happen to me. I don't know. The other one is I worry about parenting in general. I've been reading so many books, and you can only read so much, but when it comes to real life, you have to apply it. And there's just some things that are just easier said than done. But just parenting is a hard job. The older I get, the more empathy I have for parents. But these days, there's just all these things we have to keep in mind, like screen time, sugar, food. Should I be making everything from scratch? I mean, I won't be. I can't. That's not me. But you just worry about it's like, should I be using this lotion here? Or does it have some type of toxins in it that's gonna just ruin their lives? I don't know. I think the problem is we live in a world where we have so much information at the tip of our fingers, which is nice, but it's also kind of scary. Sometimes it's just better to not know. I always have to go back to people survived in much harder scenarios than what my babies will be in. People as in me, myself. For my first 8 years of my life, I was in a third world country. I probably did not have enough food, and God somehow provided, and I'm safe. I don't have issues. I don't have health issues. I have some mental health issues, but I worked through that. But all that being said, there's babies who are surviving in way worse case scenarios. So I doubt me using the wrong shampoo or body wash is going to just completely disrupt everything about these babies' lives. So I have to always just come back to that. But it is scary about all these parenting decisions you'll have to make, which leads me to my very last point, my last fear. This one, it's not even a joke. I've genuinely spent a lot of time so worried about this, and that is I am so scared that I am somehow going to traumatize my kids and cause them trauma, which sounds so deep, but it's a genuine fear of mine because I know the power parents hold on their kids' lives. And sometimes kids can become traumatized by parents, even if the parent does everything right. There's just some things that a parent can do that the kid interprets in a very different way that ends up changing their brain chemistry. You hope you do more of the right things than the wrong things. So for the most part, these kids develop in a healthy manner, but I know I'm gonna do things that's gonna hurt them. I'm not planning on being a crazy parent. I'm not gonna hurt them on purpose or anything, but I've personally dealt with a lot of trauma in my life that stemmed from my childhood and the adults around me from my childhood. And it's kind of scary to think that I could have those types of effects on my kids. And I want to acknowledge that the people around me, nobody ever intended evil, but still some of the things that were done by adults caused me pain, and they were well-meaning adults. So I just worry that I could have that same effect on my kids, and I'm obviously not going to be perfect, and at the end of the day my faith has a lot to do with how I am and how I live my life. So I'm gonna really depend on God to really take over, and I'm gonna depend on my humility to admit when I don't know what I'm doing, my humility to be willing to apologize to my kids when I fall short. But yeah, it's really scary to think you as a human being have such a huge impact on another human being's life. I hope I didn't get too much there, but it is a legitimate fear I've had for a while. I think that's it for now. I'm sure I can come up with a lot more lists, but those are the few. Again, I wanted to share this video for anyone else out there. If you're somebody like me who worries a lot, I just encourage you to do what you can, educate yourself, be prepared, but at the end of the day, we're just not gonna know how everything is gonna work out until we're in the trenches and just out there doing it. I am very grateful for all the people before me who have written books and made videos and all of that, because I'm learning so much from other moms. But as a first-time mom, there's just a lot that can be scary, and if you are in that position, just know you're not crazy. You're not being over dramatic. It's okay to take some time and voice those concerns. And I hope you have people around you who are going to be willing to listen to you and validate your feelings. All right, that is all I have. If you guys want to watch any of the other pregnancy related videos that I've done, I'll make sure they're all linked in the description down below. If you want to follow along my pregnancy journey, make sure you follow me over on Instagram. I'm very active on there. But that is all I have for today, and until next time, bye.